I want to carry his presence. I want to be aware of him all the time in my life. I want to carry his presence. I want to carry his glory. And I have found that communion explodes this in me, just exacerbates all of it. It's amazing what happens when we have communion. And now communion to me is becoming a necessity of life. I can't enjoy the fullness of what God has for me without communion. So when I look at this, he who eats my flesh and drinks my blood abides in me and I in him. That's the New King James. When I read it from the Passion Translation, it says, the one who eats my blood and drinks my blood lives in me and I live in him. So the first word was abides. The Passion says lives. The King James Version says, he who eateth my flesh and drinketh my blood dwells in me. So we abide, we live, we dwell. The New Living Translation says, anyone who eats my flesh and drinks my blood remains in me and I in him. So we have abides, lives, dwells, remains, all from the word that I gave you the definition of a while ago. Now, there are three wonderful attributes about abiding in him through communion. Are you ready? There's a lot of verses about abiding. We could look at them, but the Lord gave me three specifically in relation to communion. So we're going to stay on topic with how the communion keeps us in his abiding presence and look at what abiding through communion can produce in our lives. The first one is abiding in him through communion produces fruit. John 15:4-5 says, abide in me and I in you, as the branch cannot bear fruit of itself unless it abides in the vine, neither can you unless you abide in me. I am the vine, and you are the branches. Now listen, he who abides in me and I in him bears much fruit, for without me you can do nothing. Remember, he said that when we eat his flesh and we drink his blood, that we abide in him and he's in us. It's through communion. He who abides in me through communion and I in him through communion bears much fruit through communion, abiding in me, abiding in him. For without me, you can do nothing. We can't bear fruit. We can't bear any type of fruit from evangelism, discipling others, being a blessing to others. We're limited by how much we have communion, how we engage communion, the time we spend with communion, how we go through a process of partaking of the communion. Our fruitfulness in our life is impacted by communion. The more communion, the more you eat, the more you feed on it, the more fruit you have in your life. I think it also helps us walk in the Spirit and not fulfill the lust of the flesh. What would happen if more and more Christians would have communion on a regular basis? What would it really be like? What would it really be like?